January 2026 Social Security Updates. What you need to know first. This is an important update for every Social Security recipient watching right now. If you receive SSI, SSDI, retirement, or survivor benefits, January 2026 brings specific payment timing details that many people are already misunderstanding. At the same time, rumors about stimulus checks are spreading fast, creating fear, confusion, and false expectations. And here's the risk. When people don't clearly understand what's actually happening, it becomes very easy to believe you're getting extra money when you're not, or to panic when a payment doesn't arrive exactly when you expect it to. That's why we're slowing this down today. Not to create alarm, not to hype headlines, but to walk through the facts calmly, clearly, and step by step, so nothing catches you by surprise. For many seniors, these payments are not just numbers on a calendar, they are lifelines. They pay for rent, groceries, medications, gas, insurance, and basic dignity. When timing feels off, even by a few days, it can feel like the entire month is falling apart. And that stress doesn't come from irresponsibility. It comes from unclear information. January 2026 has some unusual timing. If you don't understand how it works, you could accidentally spend money too early or worry for no reason when nothing is actually wrong. The goal here is simple. Clarity creates calm. When you know what's coming and when, you can plan instead of panic. And that's exactly what we're going to do together. Why payment dates matter. More than most people realize, before we talk about specific dates, there's something deeply important that often gets overlooked. Payment dates are not just marks on a calendar. For many seniors, they are lifelines. That deposit supports rent, utilities, gas, groceries, medications, co-pays, and insurance. It supports the basic sense of dignity that comes from knowing the bills will be covered. So when a payment arrives earlier or later than expected, even by a few days, it can feel like the entire month is unraveling. Suddenly, tough choices appear. Food or prescriptions, rent or utilities, pay now or risk overdraft fees. And here's the part that matters most. This stress is rarely caused by irresponsibility. More often, it happens because no one ever clearly explained how Social Security and SSI payment schedules actually work, or why they sometimes shift. January is one of those months where timing can feel confusing. Holidays, weekends, and long-standing rules all interact in ways that aren't obvious unless someone walks you through them carefully. When people don't understand those rules, they may assume something went wrong. They may panic, refresh their bank app repeatedly, or worry that benefits have been reduced or stopped. In most cases, nothing is wrong at all. The money is simply following the schedule assigned to you. Understanding that schedule changes everything. When you know exactly when your money is coming, you can plan ahead, avoid late fees, and protect your peace of mind. And that sense of stability, more than any rumor or headline, is what truly matters. Understanding SSI payments in January 2026. Now let's talk about SSI because this is where confusion happens every single year. SSI payments normally arrive on the first of the month unless the first falls on a weekend or a federal holiday. That's the basic rule. Simple on paper, but in January, the timing often trips people up. In January 2026, the first of the month falls on a Wednesday. That means SSI payments for January were deposited right on time on January 1st. If you receive SSI, that money should already be in your account. So far, nothing unusual, but here's where things change and where misunderstandings begin. February 1st, 2026 falls on a Sunday. When that happens, the government does not wait until Monday to pay SSI. Instead, the payment is moved to the last business day before the 1st. That means the February SSI payment arrives early on January 31st. So yes, SSI recipients will see two deposits in January, one on January 1st and one on January 31st, and this part matters deeply. That second payment is not extra money, it is not a bonus. It is February's payment arriving early. After January 31st, there will be no SSI deposit in February. The next one won't arrive until March. If no one explains this clearly, it's easy to think you suddenly have more income than you really do, and that misunderstanding can create serious stress later on. Knowing this ahead of time protects you. Why the second January SSI payment is not extra money. This is the moment where many well-meaning people get into trouble, simply because no one ever explained this clearly. Seeing two SSI deposits in January can feel like a relief. For a brief moment, it may look like extra income has arrived. Some people think maybe something changed, or maybe this is additional help. But it's very important to pause here. That second deposit on January 31st is not January money. It belongs to February. Because February 1st falls on a Sunday, the system moves the payment earlier. The calendar changes, but the amount you receive for the year does not. After that January 31st deposit, there will be no SSI payment at all during February. The next one won't come until early March. This timing issue has nothing to do with cuts. Nothing has been taken away. But if someone spends that second payment as if it were extra, they may suddenly face an entire month with no new income coming in. I've seen how painful that situation can be, not because someone was careless, but because they were never warned. One simple mindset shift can protect you. When that second January payment arrives, think of it as February's money. Some people even write February next to it on paper or move it into a separate account. That pause, just long enough to reframe it, can save weeks of stress later. Understanding the timing keeps you steady, and steadiness is what protects your peace. How SSI timing mistakes create stress. Without warning. When people misunderstand SSI timing, the consequences don't show up immediately. At first, everything feels fine. Two deposits arrive in January, bills get paid, groceries are stocked. Maybe there's even a small sense of relief, like there's finally a little breathing room. But then February arrives, the calendar turns, the rent is due, medications need refilling, utilities keep coming, and suddenly there is no deposit. That's when panic sets in. People start checking their bank accounts repeatedly. They wonder if benefits were cut. They worry that something went wrong. Some feel embarrassed. Others feel scared to ask for help. But here's the truth that matters most. In almost every case, nothing went wrong. The money already arrived. It arrived early, quietly, and without explanation. This situation doesn't happen because someone was irresponsible. It happens because the system is complicated and no one clearly explained how early payments work or how dangerous it can be to treat them as extra income. That's why understanding the timing ahead of time is so important. Awareness gives you back control. When you know that the January 31st payment must last through February, you can plan differently. You can pace spending. You can protect essentials. You can avoid that sudden feeling of the floor dropping out from under you. This is not about restriction. It's about preparation. And preparation is what turns confusion into calm. How Social Security and SSDI payments work differently. Now let's shift to Social Security retirement benefits, survivor benefits, and SSDI, because these payments follow a completely different system. Unlike SSI, these benefits do not arrive on the first of the month. Instead, they follow a long-standing schedule based on your birthday. This system has been in place for years, but it can still feel confusing if no one has ever explained it clearly. Here's how it works. If your birthday falls between the 1st and the 10th, your payment arrives on the second Wednesday of the month. In January 2026, that date is January 8th. If your birthday falls between the 11th and the 20th, your payment arrives on the third Wednesday, which is January 15th. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the 31st, your payment arrives on the fourth Wednesday, January 22nd. Nothing about this schedule is new. Nothing is changing. But when people don't know which group they fall into, it can feel like payments are late or missing entirely. That's when worry starts to grow. The truth is, most of the time, the money is exactly where it should be. It's simply following the rule assigned to you. Once you know your specific date, the uncertainty disappears. You stop guessing, you stop panicking, and you can begin planning your month with confidence instead of anxiety. That clarity is powerful, and it's what protects your peace of mind. The one exception that confuses many seniors. There is one important exception in the Social Security payment system, and it affects many seniors more than they realize. If you began receiving Social Security benefits before May of 1997, or if you receive both SSI and Social Security together, your payment schedule is different. You do not follow the Wednesday schedule. Instead, your Social Security benefit arrives on the third day of the month. In January 2026, that means your payment is scheduled for January 3rd. No changes, no delays, no surprises. But here's where confusion often begins. Many people aren't sure which category they fall into. They may hear about Wednesday payments and start waiting. They check their bank account on the 8th, then the 15th, then the 22nd, wondering if something went wrong. That waiting creates unnecessary stress. The truth is, when you understand which system applies to you, the worry disappears. The payment isn't late. It's simply following a different rule, one that has been in place for decades. This is why knowing your exact payment date matters. Not an estimate, not a guess. The real official date assigned to you. When you know it, you stop refreshing your bank app, you stop fearing bad news, and you regain control over how you plan rent, groceries, and monthly bills. Most of the time, nothing is wrong. The system is working exactly as designed. Understanding where you fit into it is what turns confusion into confidence and replaces worry with calm planning. Why so many people panic when nothing is actually wrong? One of the most common patterns we see every year is panic caused by misunderstanding, not by real problems. Someone checks their bank account on the wrong day, the deposit isn't there yet, and suddenly, fear takes over. Thoughts start racing. Did my benefit stop? Was there a cut? Did I do something wrong? For many seniors, this fear feels deeply personal. These payments support daily life. When something feels off, even briefly, it can trigger anxiety that lasts all day or all week. But here's the calm truth. Most of the time, nothing is wrong at all. The payment is simply following the schedule assigned to you. When people don't know their exact deposit date, they end up waiting without certainty. They refresh their bank app over and over. They worry quietly, and that emotional stress builds unnecessarily. This is why clarity matters so much. Once you know your real payment date, whether it's January 1st, January 3rd, January 8th, January 15th, or January 22nd, the guessing stops. You no longer measure time by anxiety. You measure it by information. Understanding the system doesn't just help your budget, it protects your emotional well-being because peace doesn't come from money showing up early. It comes from knowing exactly when it's coming and trusting that knowledge. And when you replace panic with understanding, the entire month feels steadier, safer, and more manageable. The truth about stimulus check rumors in January 2026. Now, we need to talk calmly and honestly about something that has been flooding headlines and social media feeds: stimulus checks. Many people are hearing claims like a new stimulus is coming in January, or Social Security recipients are finally getting extra relief money. And when money feels tight, those words can sound like hope. But clarity matters more than hope built on rumors. As of right now, there is no federally approved stimulus check scheduled for January 2026. Congress has not passed one. The IRS is not processing one. And the Social Security Administration is not sending one out. That's not said to disappoint you. It's said to protect you. Because when people plan their month around money that doesn't exist yet, the stress that follows can be far worse than the relief they were hoping for. So why do these rumors spread so quickly? Often it starts with a proposal being discussed, but not approved. Other times, a one-time state rebate gets mistaken for a nationwide program. And sometimes dramatic headlines are used simply because they attract clicks. But here's the rule that keeps you safe. A proposal is not a paycheck. A headline is not a deposit. If real stimulus were coming, it would be announced clearly, officially, and repeatedly. You would not need to search for it or decode rumors online. For now, the smartest plan is to build your budget around the money you know is coming and treat anything else as noise. How stimulus rumors create false planning and real stress. The real danger of stimulus rumors isn't disappointment, it's misplanning. When people believe extra money is coming, even subconsciously, their decisions change. They may delay paying a bill. They may wait to refill a prescription. They may assume things will work out once that expected deposit arrives. And when it doesn't, the stress hits harder. This is especially difficult for seniors living on fixed incomes, where timing matters just as much as amount. One missed expectation can throw off an entire month. What makes this worse is how convincing some of these rumors sound. Videos speak with confidence. Posts use official language. Headlines imply certainty where none exists. Over time, repetition makes speculation feel real, but financial stability requires grounding decisions in facts, not momentum. Right now, the only money you should plan around is the money already scheduled: your Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or survivor benefits. Anything else should be treated as unconfirmed until it is officially announced and clearly explained by trusted sources. This approach doesn't make you pessimistic, it makes you prepared. prepared to avoid late fees, prepared to manage cash flow calmly, prepared to protect your peace of mind. Hope has its place, but stability comes from clarity. And clarity begins when we stop building plans around money that hasn't been approved, hasn't been announced, and hasn't been deposited. Real life situations where timing mistakes cause trouble. Let's bring this out of theory and into real life, because this is where timing misunderstandings quietly create hardship. Imagine someone receiving SSI in January. One payment arrives on January 1st, another arrives on January 31st. For the first time in a while, the account balance looks healthier. Bills get paid, maybe a few extra groceries are bought, maybe there's a small sense of relief. Then February arrives. There is no deposit. Suddenly, the refrigerator feels emptier. Rent is due. Medications need refilling, and the balance keeps dropping. It feels unfair, it feels frightening, and many people blame themselves. But the truth is, this isn't about carelessness. It's about not being told that January 31st was actually February's money. When that misunderstanding happens, people don't just run out of cash, they run out of peace, and peace matters just as much as money. Another common situation involves SSDI or retirement benefits arriving in the middle of the month while rent is due on the 1st. Every month becomes a juggling act, always behind, always stressed. There is no shame in this. The system wasn't designed to match every real-life bill schedule. And struggling with timing does not mean you're failing. It means you're navigating a complicated system without clear guidance. Understanding how your money flows in is the first step toward taking control of how it flows out. Simple steps to regain control and reduce monthly stress. Once you understand how the system works, the next question becomes practical. What can you actually do with this information? The good news is, the steps that bring the most peace are often simple. The first step is knowing your exact payment date, not around the beginning of the month or sometime on a Wednesday, but the specific day your benefit is scheduled to arrive. Write it down. Put it on your calendar. Keep it somewhere you can see it. When your brain knows the date, it relaxes. You stop guessing. The second step is setting gentle reminders. A few days before your deposit, take a moment to look at upcoming bills. Decide what must be paid right away and what can wait. This small pause prevents rushed decisions. If you receive SSI and see two payments in January, mentally label the second one as February's money. Some people move it into a separate account. Others leave themselves a written note. That small act of awareness can prevent weeks of stress. And if your bills are due before your income arrives, don't suffer in silence. Call your landlord, utility company, or insurance provider. Explain that your income comes later in the month and ask if adjustments are possible. Most people are more understanding than you expect, especially when you plan ahead. These steps aren't about perfection. They're about preparation, and preparation restores confidence. Why small financial cushions make a big difference. One of the most powerful protections you can give yourself is also one of the smallest. A cushion, not a large savings account, not a perfect emergency fund, just a small buffer that gives you room to breathe. When income arrives on fixed dates and expenses don't always line up, even a modest cushion can change how the entire month feels. $10? $20? Whatever is realistic. Over time, those small amounts begin to add up, not just in money, but in confidence. That cushion protects you when payments arrive a little later than expected. It helps when a prescription costs more than usual, or when a bill comes due sooner than planned. Most importantly, it prevents every surprise from becoming a crisis. This isn't about discipline or sacrifice. It's about dignity. Many seniors feel discouraged when they hear advice that sounds unrealistic for their situation. But this isn't about doing everything at once. It's about doing one small thing consistently. Even setting aside a few dollars when you can sends a powerful message to yourself. I am planning ahead. I am protecting my peace. And that peace matters. Because financial stress doesn't just affect the bank account, it affects sleep, health, relationships, the way each day feels. A small cushion doesn't solve everything, but it softens the edges, it gives you options, and in a system where timing can be unpredictable, having even a little flexibility can make life feel steadier and safer. Clarity, stability, and peace of mind going forward. As we come to the end of this update, it's important to step back and look at what really matters. January 2026 may feel complicated at first glance. Payment dates shift. Some deposits arrive earlier than expected. Rumors about stimulus checks continue to circulate. And when information feels unclear, stress can grow quickly. But here's the truth that brings everything back into focus. Nothing has been taken away. Nothing has been secretly added, and nothing is broken. SSI follows its long-standing rules, even when timing creates two deposits in January. Social Security, SSDI, and survivor benefits continue to follow the same schedules they always have, based on birth dates or the third of the month rule. And despite what headlines may suggest, there is no federally approved stimulus check scheduled for January 2026. Knowing these facts does more than inform you. It protects you. It allows you to plan instead of guess, to pace spending instead of reacting, to stay calm when others feel anxious. Financial peace isn't about surprise money or perfect timing. It's about understanding how your income flows, preparing for known shifts, and refusing to let rumors control your decisions. You have worked your entire life for this stability. You deserve clear information, honest guidance, and the confidence that comes from knowing where you stand. When clarity replaces confusion, calm follows naturally. And that calm, more than any check, is what truly supports your well-being. Stay informed, stay steady, and remember, you are not alone in navigating this system.